more kind of like battle-ready young guys as opposed to some of your other years, like tougher kids, like Davis and Keith Gilchrist, those kind of guys?
Marcus Teague was pretty good. I don't know yet. I would say that the practices have been pretty good, very competitive, high energy. I'm doing all offense right now. We don't do any defense. We're not letting them play pick and roll right now. I want to build their confidence, and then we'll put in the defense and rebounding. We're not a good defensive team right now. We're not a good rebounding team, but we haven't worked on it. I'm playing Julius, if you remember what I did with Patrick Patterson, where Patrick the year before was right under the basket, and then I put him at the top. Well, that's Julius. So what's happened is he's not rebounding either end the way he needs to because he's just not used to being out there. But he's getting better. He's not. He doesn't have the swagger because he's playing a position he hadn't played and a style that's different for him. But he has still been pretty good.
Did you do that just to give him a more well-rounded offensive game? Or?
If I wanted to just win college games and that's all I was about, then he'd have been playing under the basket. By trying to help prepare him for where he needs to be and what he's going to play like, you put him out just like we did Patrick. But then he has to understand you have to rebound and do those things from that position even if you start there. And you also got to get in the post some. And then how do you do it? And he's a great kid. He was in the gym 3 days. He cramped up yesterday in practice because I was in my office at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. He was in the gym. I heard the ball bounce, and I look out the window. It's him. The next day at 10:30, he's in there sweating. And then we had media day, and he practiced. So at the end of practice, he was cramping up. No kidding. Kid, stay off the court a little bit. But he's a driven young man, and he's done well.
Now, can you talk about the SEC? Hired Mark Whitworth, the commissioner named Mark Whitworth, the kind of in charge of basketball, the concerted effort to try to grow it or get teams in terms. Can you talk about the effort they're making?
Where we need to be in this league, we need to have 8 teams every year in the conversation, and you have to have anywhere from 5 to 8 teams in the NCAA tournament every year. It's a responsibility for all of us, and we can all be about our own programs, and we'll all go down one by one, or we can be about each other. You got to bury the jealousy and let's go. And we needed that kind of leadership is great. He's going to do great, and I think our whole league is all ears. Let's do this, whether it be some sort of scheduling or other things we have to do to put our programs out there. With this new television network, there's no need. I mean, we're on every team is on national television every game, and I think it's going to help everybody. Helps us, that all the schools are well invested in their basketball programs. They are. Building buildings, building practice facilities. They're invested in their programs. But I think, like I said, we have a great vision that we want to reach, and now we just all got to come together and do it.
How has the sophomores from last year's team returning players helped the freshmen so far?
Well, they've been hurt, so they've helped them by getting them on those freshmen a lot of time right now. Both of them have been out, and Willie practiced 2 days now, and Alex has practiced about 4 days. So for the first week or so, we had all freshmen out on the court, and we had John Hood and Jared Polson out there with them. But it's those two, we need their experience, and Willie's way better, Alex is way better. And the competition is really good because right now we've had about 40 scouts come through our building in 11 days. And, they're talking about James Young. He's the one that's stunning them like, wait a minute, he may be the best player in the country. Well, they're saying it because he's naturally playing the way he plays. Where Julius is playing, he doesn't have that swagger, even though he's playing good. James is kind of like making shots, playing through bumps, which he didn't do before, doing some good stuff. But Willie just started, Alex just started, and they're doing well.
You said Alex is in a whole lot way better.
Yeah.
How so?
Because his head never goes down. He's competing to survive. He is getting the ball by the man instead of trying to lower his shoulder and just bull people over. Knows, because right now, where he used to do that last year to a guy, now he's lowering his shoulder into somebody and he's going the wrong way. So you got to get by people. You're not going to muscle anybody. You got to get that, and he's doing it. Yesterday he made a play going to his left, got by the defender and dunked it with two hands. It was like, oh my gosh, I think I stopped practice. That's it, we're done. So he's making shots, he's making jump shots, but he's playing good.
Cal, is it fun to go into a season in a way with these high expectations?
Well, the other option is to go in with no expectation. I'm not sure I'd want that, but I'm fine with it. We've got a talented group of young kids that wanted to be there together. Someone said, one of the scouts said, how do you get them to buy in? Because you could see they're buying in already. Well, part of it is they know each other, they like each other, they wanted to play together. The other part of it is they trust that we as a staff and me as a head coach, I got your back. So whatever I'm doing with you, you can trust that it's about you. It's not about me. It isn't even about the program. It's about you. You worry about each other. I'll worry about you. Anthony Davis, 5th most shots. Michael, 4th most shots, 1 and 2 in the draft. They trusted. We're going to do whatever you tell us to do, and it's going to work out. So I think part of it is when we talk about players first, it's we're going to do what's right for you, knowing you're going to drag us to where we want to go versus the other way around.
John Hood said yesterday, he said, you guys are so smart. He said, we got geniuses out here on the court. What is the basketball IQ of the ball club?
Well, here's what I'm doing with this group, and I've not done this before. One, we're scrimmaging. And if you know me, guys from Memphis know a lot of drill work, and then we scrimmage a little bit, and then a little bit more, and a little bit more. We are scrimmaging 3/4 of our practices right now. Now, it's controlled, but it's scrimmaging. And what I'm saying is fail fast. Fail fast. Which means play uncomfortable. Go harder so we can correct you. So you can feel what works and what doesn't work now. Because you know what? You're driving in there. There's a 7-footer on both teams. And wait a minute. The power forward's 6'10", 6'9". And the small forwards are 6'7", 6'8". So you're not, stuff that you did in high school against that 6-foot forward, not working now. But you have to fail fast, go hard, be uncomfortable. And I felt that we needed to do it scrimmaging so I can, look, here's what I can't do. How about if I'm doing drills that 3/4 of them already know they do it? So I'm wasting time. So I'm doing a drill that I would normally do that they don't need. They're like, I don't know why I'm doing this drill. So that's what we're doing. Scrimmaging, fail fast, let's learn, move on. All offense, because I'm trying to build their confidence. No defense, and it shows. We haven't taught it. And no rebounding stuff right now, and it shows. We don't rebound real well right now. But they pick up what John is saying. I tell them once, we do it again, we go over it, and they do it. My term right now, instincts. Play to your instincts. So that's all I'm saying in practice. I'll say it 50 times. Instincts. If you think you need to cut to the basket, cut to the basket. See, the dribble drive isn't running plays. It's playing basketball. If you think you should take a guy left, take him left. If you think you should come out instead of go back door, come out. Play to your instincts. If you think that guy's open, throw it. Just throw lobs. We're not throwing bounce passes. So when they play to their instincts, I stop them. You just played to your instinct. You did what you thought. You broke it down. So that's the kind of stuff I'm doing with this group that's different. I don't mind. There's no like, you're going to do it this way and this is how I've developed play. Well, we developed pretty good last year. I think we lost in the first round of the NIT. So it's not just this is how we do something. It's what does this team need from me. Every kid needs something different from me, and every team needs something different from me.
John, the SEC announced that the basketball tournament is going to be in Nashville 9 out of the next 12 years. Are you excited about that?
Yeah, that'd be fine. I think being in a place consistently for a number of years is good for the fans. It's an essential site. I think part of the reason they did it is we got knocked out, and people still went. That's important. I don't want that to sound like bragging, but I'm saying for our league, We get knocked out and it was packed. It was great. It was a great environment. And that's why I think they said, hey, if this is what happens when this team and that team loses and these teams are still alive and we still get this kind of crowd, we need to be here. And that's the truth.
Coach, how do you view the progress of the LSU and Arkansas basketball?
Until we see him play, I don't know. But I would tell you with what Johnny has back and the players he has, I feel they'll be really good. And in Arkansas, losing those two kids, it's unfortunate those kids should have come back to school. But, we're all in the same boat. I like Mike, but I don't feel bad for him.
John, Alex said that his confidence in his work last year, he's a McDonald's All-American, very accomplished player. Why do you think a guy's confidence?
Because we didn't have enough scholarship players. And Marcus Teague went pro, left a hole there. We had 8 players on scholarship. We're the University of Kentucky. You have 8 players on scholarship? So what happens is, Nerlens get hurt, we're down to 7 scholarships. But even before that, you'll say, well, you don't have enough practice and competition. No. How about a kid is playing poorly? Like I went to the right-hander, they're in one. Well, get the lefty. There wasn't one. Stay in. I'm giving up home runs. Stay in there. You can do it. Well, you start ripping the kid's confidence. We had nobody. There were times, Alex, get out. Alex, go right back. Go. Hurry up. Well, it was a great lesson for me why you have to have a full complement of players. They are not machines. These are kids. And sometimes they need to be out of a game, not punishment. They just need to be off the court, get their mindset so they can regroup and then play better.
I know your friend Tony Barbie just went through a tough season. He says he kind of turns to you for guidance from time to time. What have those conversations been like, and how do you see things kind of shaking
He's
out?
really exciting about his team. He said the trip they took really built their team up. And I had one question for him. He has to know somebody in the SEC office. We go to Auburn every year. I don't think they've been to our building yet. I'm like, how do we go to Auburn every year? So, but he's going to do fine. And again, it's like all of us. You need a break. Sometimes you get the break the wrong way. Sometimes you need to break the other way, and that's where he is. Because every game we've gone against him, he's coached, and they've been right there with a chance to beat us. So he's done great, and he likes his team. He does.
With the increased depth and talent, is there a little more maybe swagger though that you sense from the guys, or do they feel a little more confident? Or I saw Alex Poitras, for example, mentioned something about going 40-0, and today was a little more reserved about that. But do you sense that they?
Well, look, the 40-0 comment I made a while ago, and let me tell you where it started. It started with one of my players, Tyrone Weeks, when I was at UMass, said to me, I said, what do we want to do, guys? And one of the guys said, win a national title. And that was 95-96 team with Marcus Camby. I said, that's good. All right, I love it. Let's get out. And he said, wait a minute, Coach, let's go undefeated. I went undefeated. We're opening the season with Kentucky. They got 11 NBA players on their team. That's our first game. We also had Wake Forest. We also had Syracuse. We had Boston College. We had pros. We had a ridiculous schedule. And I said, no, I'm serious. Let's go undefeated. Well, I was mad. Well, from that kid's thoughts, we won our first 26 games. And at that time in 95-96 season, they said, this team has a chance to win every game. They could win 40 in a row. And we ended up getting beat by Kentucky in the semifinal when we shouldn't have played them, by the way. It should have been the final game. It wasn't the semifinal. It was 1 versus 2. And then we would have beat them. But no, I'm just kidding. But that's where that thought, and I said before I retire, I'd like to coach an undefeated team. I never said this team. This team, we have never talked about going undefeated. We talk about the process. We talk about the grind. We talk about every game matters. But with those thoughts, I've had 2 teams win 38 games, most in the history of college basketball. So we didn't quite reach 40. But we won more than anybody's ever won. So, like I said, I know it's an impossible. You can't do it. It'll never be done. That's nuts. Not in this day and age. That's before when you only played 4 NCAA tournament games and 2 of them may have been at home and da-da-da-da-da-da. I've heard it all. You can't do it now. And I still stick with it. I'd like to, before I retire, coach an undefeated basketball team. I think it would be neat.
John, what do you think the impact's going to be on the rule changes this year as they're trying to clean up some of the play, you know, the chucking, the hand checking, and all that?
I love it. I love it. I've been saying it for years.
All the
Yeah,
way through the years.
yeah. I've been for years. I've been saying it. What's happened is the reason it got rougher and rougher, the teams that played that way were getting rewarded. So then all of a sudden you're looking around as a coach, and if they're playing that way, then I got to play that way. Then all of a sudden you got everybody fouling the crap out of everybody, and the scoring surprisingly went down. No kidding. You can't shoot a layup, you get smacked, and when you left your feet, 2 guys were taking charges. I mean, it was crazy. So now, the biggest thing you guys may have missed, if you're in the up motion to shoot a layup, the weak side defender cannot come in your path now. I don't have to leave my feet. You know, the old way, you started to leave your feet, and here came the guy. I mean, you were in the up motion, starting to leave your feet, boom, and then they flop. And then it was a charge. Now, those are all blocks. So here's what they're saying. If he gets in his up motion and you're not there, block it or get out of his way, because it's going to be a foul. Perfect. Scoring's going to go up, because it's the way it should be. The fouling, if you run a guy out of bounds now, they're not going to say you went out of bounds. They're going to say you fouled him. If you can get your head and shoulders by a defender and there's contact, they're riding you. You know how they used to ride you, put their arms up and then hip you? That now is an automatic foul, and if you don't call the fouls, you won't be officiating games. So I think it's great. I think scoring will go up. I think early in the season, everybody's going to be mad. All of us. I think teams are going to play more zone. I think the teams that press will go one hard trap, because if you body them, you know what I'm saying? It's a foul. So you can't all right, we're going to let him dribble and bump him and hit him, and then we're going to trap him. Well, you can't. So now the guy has his eyes, and here you come running, he's throwing it. It's different.
Are you looking at doing more zone?
I'm trying to figure out how we play post defense, and I haven't decided yet because we have done no defense. Right now, when we're playing, we're picking up full court, and I'm saying play the ball. And if they touch somebody, I'm saying that's a foul. So I hope I'm not screwing up by doing what they're telling me to do.
Stallings said that his concern is that.
Who's?
Coach Stallings. He said his concern is, can you do it the whole year? Are they going to be consistent with this?
It's exactly what we all want. Whatever you start, just keep doing it. You make us change and you make the players change. It's better for the college game. Just you're gonna have to coach different. You're gonna have to have a different press. How about this? You can't go deny all wings, because you can body check a guy out front. Now you're gonna have to sag. You can't stretch your defense, because if I start to drive and you bump me now, that's your foul. What's your third foul? Now go sit down. Is your second backup as good as him? So now you're trying to protect guys. You know what I'm saying? It's just we're going to have to adjust. And I think the guys will. I think all the coaches will.
Coach, why do you think more coaches don't go about recruiting like you and go after as many?
They do. They do. We're all recruiting the same guys. And we don't get everybody we're trying to get. This thing where we choose, well, I wish you'd spend a month with me and figure out what we're doing to try to make sure we're doing our jobs and staying on top of stuff. And it's different for us because we're not recruiting 50 guys in each class. In the junior class, we're recruiting 6 guys, maybe 7. In the sophomore class, we're probably recruiting 2 or 3 guys. We make decisions later. We have to. Because if you're not good enough, you should not come with us. If you have flaws in your game, it's going to be exposed. If you don't want to play with other good players, you want to be the only guy, or a guy tells you you're going to be the centerpiece of our offense, why would you go there? You're not going to get enough shots. One kid said to me, well, one coach told me I could get 20 shots. I said, well, if you want to be guaranteed that, go to an NAIA school. You get 30 shots. I mean, why would you go there? I mean, you get 30 somewhere else. And it's all, and again, I'm telling you, we don't get everybody we're trying to recruit. We miss on kids, and kids decide they want to go elsewhere for right reasons, and we get who we get.
John?
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask you about the way Alex played against Duke last year, coming in, tipped dunks, very assertive. How much was that the Alex
early on
you'd like to see?
Well, it was early on when we didn't know, and he didn't get rattled. Then he got rattled, and I went like this, and they said there is nobody. He got to stay in the game. And all of a sudden he went 3 straight games and he couldn't make a shot and he kept turning it over. You're okay, Alex. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. And that's why you need a bench where, you know, guys don't have to play 40 minutes, and it's not good to have to play 40 minutes. You play as many minutes as you can play well, and you can play hard.
With the amount of talent on this team, though, how much of a concern is maybe getting people to sacrifice?
They're all going to have to. That'll be one guy left the gym and said, how are you going to get these 8 guys or 9 guys to share the ball? And I don't know, but we end up doing it. But again, I think it comes down to you got guys on my team who, if they're to reach their dreams, it's not going to be scoring the ball. It'll have nothing to do with scoring the ball if you want to reach your dreams. You're never going to go to another level and be a scorer, so why are you worried about it here? Go do all the other things. You'll still score, but if that's what you're trying to do, it's not why they're going to take you. So I try to be honest with them, and the other thing is, I tell a guy, you're not going to get 30 shots a game, but you may get 30 in a game if you get it going. So I think on this team we'll have 7 guys get 25 or more in at least 1 game, maybe 2 on this team. They got that much ability. And if that guy gets it going, that's the way I coach. Just keep giving them the ball. So I grabbed the guys yesterday because they're all saying James Young is our best player, maybe the best player in the country. So I said, how do you all feel about that? Julius, how you feel? How you feel, Andrew? Aaron? How you feel, Marcus? How about you, Dakari? Because next week it may be Julius, it may be Aaron, it may be Andrew. How are you going to feel, James? You know what I'm saying? This week it's him, next week it's you. I mean, can you all deal with that? That's why you came to Kentucky. And that's why they all came together. But it'll be interesting. We got a good group, though.
Thank you.